home. The place you probably consider to be the safest place you could ever be in this world. But sometimes, this gets turned on its head. Home invasions are one of the most terrifying things you can ever experience, as your safe haven is turned against you. Our topic today involves a home invasion that's baffled the true crime community for over a decade, with some believing it's real and others fake. Today I'm going to investigate the Ruth Price 911 call to see if I can get to the bottom of this case. This is Ruth Price. A definitive answer? First of all, I'm going to play the full 911 call. Viewer discretion is advised, as this call is very disturbing.
This is Ruth Price at 3877.
What's the problem, ma'am?
Oh, there's some guy been checking the place out.
How?
Well, he went in the back. I have an apartment in the back, and he said he was looking for a guy. And he comes to my door,
Yes?
and said he's looking for an apartment. So I live alone, and I'm an old lady. And I'm kind of
Where is he now, ma'am?
I don't have no idea.
The validity of the call has been disputed for a few reasons. One is its total lack of coverage in the news. There is zero information out there about this call. You'd think that a murder of an elderly woman would at least be featured in a local newspaper or something, but nothing has ever been found. Second, the operator in this call is just completely incompetent. She cuts off Ruth as she gives her address and allows her to roam around a house when there's a potential intruder. This has led people to conclude that this call was created to train operators and show them what not to do. However, there are a few logical arguments to dispute this. This call has been estimated to have been made around the late 80s or early 90s before the internet, and it's easy to see how this case could have just been forgotten. For the second point, the police may very well have used this call for training purposes, but that does not necessarily mean that it was faked. This call could have easily been flagged up by officers as an example of an operator not doing their job properly, and was used to almost shock the trainees into remembering what not to do. There is also some evidence to suggest that this call is indeed real. On a People Look Up website, someone found a Ruth M. Price, who died in 1994, who resided at 3877 on 35th Street, located in San Diego. This matches the address she gave in the call.
This is Ruth Price at 3877.
What's the problem, ma'am?
Looking at the address on Google Maps, you find something interesting. There's a building located at the back of the house. Google Street View images show that this building is indeed some sort of apartment. In the call, she mentions having an apartment in the back.
He went in the back. I have an apartment in the back, and he said...
This is a Street View archive from February 2009, which shows the front of the apartment. So not only does this address match up with the one she began to mention, but the house also features an apartment in the back. Following this, I decided to dig deeper into the address. Various websites say the property last sold for $79,000 on March 17, 1986. The year it was built is not listed, but it was renovated in 1930, so it definitely existed when the call was made. Another site I found listed known past and present residents, and Ruth Price is listed. Fun fact, there's a local sex offender. I'm not blurring his information because he's a sex offender. So the information someone originally found indicated that the Ruth Price connected to this address died in 1994, and using that, on ancientfaces.com I found a Ruth M. Price, born December 7th, 1913 and died May 13th, 1994. Her last known residence was in El Cajon, San Diego. This was only the tip of the iceberg into my digging. On Ancestry.com I found this same person with some added information. Her full name is Ruth Mildred Price, born in Colorado, died in San Diego. Mother's maiden name is Eagler and father's surname is Starr. It appears Ruth's own maiden name was Starr. An obituary links this woman to 2 children, but I'm not going to show their names. However, should this video grab the attention of people who can actually do proper investigation and the name of this woman's children would be useful to them, then I would give them their names. The next 2 documents might be a bit trivial, but they show Ruth Starr travelling from Honolulu to Los Angeles on June 30th, 1940 and arriving back there on October 23rd of the same year. I also found a document on there from the Social Security Applications and Claims Index, which has the same date of birth and death, as well as the Social Security number. There are the names of the parents, Thomas Starr and Johanna Eagler. I found an obituary of the Johanna Starr, married to Thomas O. Starr. She was born in 1886 and died April 1935. The father was born in 1884 and died in 1940. They also had a son, also named Thomas O. Starr, born in 1912 and died in 1972. On the page talking about Thomas Jr., it said Thomas Oscar Starr Jr., August 18th, 1972, in a local nursing home. Brother of Mrs. Ruth M. Price, San Diego, California. Uncle of 2, granduncle of 6. Born May 26, 1912, in Pueblo. Veteran of World War II, US Army Technical Sergeant with 772nd Rehabilitation Center. Owned and operated SNR TV service for 21 years. Services 3:30 p.m. Tuesday Davis Memorial Chapel with the Reverend Dowand Van Splinter, pastor of Parish St. Peter the Apostle, officiating. Military rights at Roselawn by American Legion Post 2. The family may be contacted at the home of, and it lists a name and area. Like I said earlier, I will not show this information, but should this video catch the attention of those better equipped to investigate this, then I will give them the name as someone who may be a descendant of the potential brother of Ruth, may be able to give us some more concrete information. In the 1940 census, Ruth resides at 4575 Hawley Boulevard, which is about 1.2 kilometers away from 3877 35th Street. This ties into my final point. Can we trust this? I could easily be barking up the wrong tree here. I could easily have tracked this Ruth Price and gone through her entire history, but be talking about the wrong person. Yet, I don't think I am. The Ruth Price who died in 1994 resided in this area, in 3877 35th Street, San Diego, a building with an apartment in the back and connections to all sorts of information online that I found. The family information all connect back to a Ruth Mildred Price, born December 7th, 1913, who died on May 13th, 1994. The fact that there's an apartment in the back of the house she's connected to should really be proof enough that this woman indeed existed. It would have to be a mother of all coincidences for there to have been another Ruth M. Price who died in 1994 and also lived in the San Diego area who wasn't the one in the call. To me, this is real. Claims that this is used for operator training are probably true, and they likely just used a horrifying case that serves as an example of what an operator should and shouldn't do. Maybe some of the names I haven't showed are relevant, who knows. All I can do is hope this video catches the attention of those who are better placed to look into it, and hopefully this has put us on the path of finally gaining some solid information about this case. There was a Reddit thread on r/Unresolved Mysteries called Who Was Ruth and Was She Real? They concluded that Ruth Price was 100% real, as was the murder and all the information in the call, but the audio itself was not real. It was just based on the exact transcript of her call, but it's not the actual call. It was dramatised. However, I disagree. One Reddit user pointed out 3 simple points. The first being that in order to dramatise this call, they would have had to spend thousands of dollars worth of public taxpayers' money, and given it's being used for private, internal training purposes, it's unlikely that they would have been given that sort of money. The second point is that her speech sounds very random, very spontaneous, and it's not the sort of thing a scriptwriter doctoring a call would have used. And the way she speaks, the language she uses, just her tone of voice is very random and spontaneous, and it's how you'd expect someone in that situation to speak. And if it was faked or dramatised, or there was some sort of script, it would have been more apparent, more calculated, more unnatural. Third point they make is that she appears to scream from her diaphragm, and screaming from your diaphragm is very primal. It's something you can only do unless you're in extreme circumstances, like your life is in danger or you've been trained to do so. For example, you scream with your diaphragm when there's, say, a jump scare in a horror film, because that's a natural primal instinct. Whereas if you were to just scream for the sake of it, you scream with your vocal cords, and it's clear that she's screaming with her diaphragm, so one could only assume that it's probably because she was in a genuine situation where her primal instinct kicked in. There's also just the logical point of, would the police really waste thousands of dollars of taxpayers' money on dramatising a call for training purposes? Did it not just seem more logical to search through the archives of the thousands upon thousands of 911 calls and find one case of an incompetent 911 operator and use that as a case study of what not to do, rather than wasting all sorts of money on faking and dramatising a call to prove your point? It just seems very illogical. I think all this makes listening to this call way more tragic. If the woman I've been researching is indeed the Ruth Price who was murdered in the call, then it shows this woman lived a whole life. She's not just an actor, it's not just a small little snippet of a call. This woman lived an 80-year life, and it was snuffed away in a few seconds. A different way of looking at it, given a lot of the true crime community have just concluded that this is fake, and you can't really blame them. There's not really been much information about it until now. Well, that concludes this investigation. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, why not hit the like button and subscribe. I'm Harvester, and I'll see you next time.